Paris, August 1944. The city is still standing, but only just. German explosives are already wired beneath bridges, monuments, and railway stations. The Eiffel Tower has demolition charges at its base. The Louvre is marked. Notre Dame is mapped. Paris is no longer a city in German plans. It is a target. In a concrete headquarters just outside the city, a newly appointed German general receives his orders. His name is Dietrich von Choltitz. He has arrived in Paris less than 3 weeks earlier. A career officer, decorated, disciplined, known for following orders without hesitation. Hitler chose him for a reason. Paris is slipping from German control, and Hitler does not intend to lose it intact. Choltitz is summoned to speak directly with the Führer. The call is short, cold, and absolute. If Paris cannot be held, it must be destroyed. Not damaged, not sabotaged. Destroyed. Bridges blown, power stations flattened, water systems ruined, cultural landmarks erased. The message is unmistakable. If the Allies take Paris, they are to inherit a graveyard. Choltitz acknowledges the order. He hangs up the phone. And for the first time in his military career, he does nothing. Outside, Paris is alive. Cafes still open. Civilians still move through the streets, pretending the war has not already arrived. Resistance fighters operate in the shadows. American and Free French forces are closing in from the west. Inside German command posts, officers argue, radios crackle, maps are redrawn by the hour. Choltitz walks the city. He inspects the explosives personally. He visits the bridges. The charges are real. The detonators are ready. His engineers confirm it would only take minutes to turn Paris into rubble. Militarily, the order makes sense. Deny the enemy infrastructure, slow their advance, send a message. But Paris is not just another city. Choltitz knows its history. He knows its symbolism, and he knows something else too. The war is lost. Germany is collapsing on every front. Destroying Paris will not save the Reich. It will only ensure its eternal hatred. On August 19th, the French resistance rises. Gunfire erupts across the city. Barricades appear overnight. German patrols are ambushed. Paris is in open revolt. Choltitz now faces an impossible situation. He is ordered to crush the uprising and prepare the demolitions. His garrison is outnumbered. His supplies are low. His communications are breaking down. And Hitler is calling again. Is Paris burning? He demands. Choltitz gives evasive answers. He delays. He claims technical issues. He asks for reinforcements he knows will never arrive. Every hour he buys is another hour Paris survives. Meanwhile, the Allies are racing toward the city. Eisenhower initially plans to bypass Paris entirely, fearing street fighting and supply shortages. But Charles de Gaulle insists Paris must be liberated by French forces. The political stakes are enormous. Choltitz knows this too. He understands that once Allied troops reach the city, his window to act closes forever. His staff grows nervous. Some officers urge him to follow orders. Others quietly hope he won't. The explosives remain in place. The detonators remain connected. One command could still end it all. On August 22nd, Choltitz meets secretly with Swedish consul Raoul Nordling. Nordling presses him relentlessly. He appeals not as a diplomat, but as a human being. He tells Choltitz that destroying Paris will define him forever, that no explanation, no justification, no following orders will erase it. Choltitz listens. He says little, but the message lands. He later admits that this conversation changed everything. That night, he makes his decision. German units are ordered to pull back instead of detonating charges. Bridges remain standing. Key infrastructure is left untouched. When resistance fighters attack, Choltitz responds with restraint instead of annihilation. Hitler calls again, furious, demanding answers. Why is Paris still standing? Choltitz stalls. He lies. He tells Hitler the situation is fluid, that counterattacks are underway, that the city is not yet lost. It is the most dangerous deception of his life. On August 25th, Allied and Free French forces enter Paris. Crowds flood the streets, bells ring, flags wave from windows, German troops surrender en masse. Choltitz signs the formal surrender of the city inside the Hôtel Meurice. He is taken prisoner. Paris is free, intact, alive. The bridges still cross the Seine. The monuments still stand. The world celebrates. But the story almost ends there, simplified into a clean moral victory. The truth is far more complicated. Choltitz spends the rest of the war as a prisoner. After Germany's defeat, he is questioned repeatedly. Some accuse him of inventing the story, of exaggerating his role, of claiming credit for a decision forced by circumstance. Others point to the explosives that were never detonated, the orders that were never carried out. Choltitz himself never portrays his choice as heroic. He says he obeyed his conscience. He says he knew the war was over. He says destroying Paris would have been a crime without purpose. Decades later, historians still debate his motives. Was it morality, pragmatism, fear of future prosecution, or a moment of clarity in a collapsing world? Perhaps it was all of them. What is undeniable is this: Paris stood on the edge of destruction. The switch was wired, the order was clear, and one man chose not to press it. After the liberation, Paris becomes a symbol, not just of freedom, but of restraint. And almost immediately, the narrative begins to fracture. While the world celebrates the city's survival, questions surface in the ruins of the Third Reich. Was Paris truly spared by conscience, or was it spared because Germany no longer had the strength to destroy it? Dietrich von Choltitz is no longer a general with power. He is a prisoner, moved through Allied camps, interviewed again and again. Each side wants a different answer from him. The French want a savior. The Germans want an excuse. The Allies want the truth. In captivity, Choltitz speaks cautiously. He admits he disobeyed Hitler. He does not deny the orders existed. He confirms the explosives were real. Engineers testify that bridges had been mined, rail hubs prepared, demolition plans finalized. This was not a bluff. Paris could have been leveled. But critics argue that German forces in the city were already collapsing, that detonations would have required coordination that no longer existed, that resistance sabotage and Allied air superiority made large-scale destruction unlikely. Choltitz listens to these claims and says nothing. He never fully defends himself. He simply repeats the same sentence. Destroying Paris would have served no military purpose. Hitler, meanwhile, raged until the end. In his final days in the bunker, he returned again and again to Paris. He called it betrayal, weakness, proof that his generals were no longer worthy of him. In his eyes, Choltitz did not save Paris. He stole revenge. The Führer never forgave him. And in the twisted moral universe of the collapsing Reich, that alone was proof of guilt. After the war, Choltitz is released. He is not tried as a war criminal. He is not celebrated as a hero. He occupies an uncomfortable middle ground. In 1951, he publishes his memoirs. The title alone sparks outrage. Burning Paris? To some, it is a confession. To others, a self-serving myth. French intellectuals debate it. German veterans argue over it. Historians dissect every line. Did he exaggerate Hitler's order? Did he inflate his own importance, or did he do what so many others failed to do and stop? Then come the documents, intercepted communications, engineering reports, testimonies from German officers and resistance members. Slowly, the picture sharpens. Hitler did issue the order. The demolitions were prepared. The city was minutes, maybe hours, from irreversible damage, and the final authority rested with one man. Whether driven by conscience, calculation, or exhaustion, Dietrich von Choltitz refused. But history rarely rewards refusal. Choltitz never escapes suspicion. To the French, he is always a German general first. To Germans, he is a man who disobeyed the Führer. To historians, he is a case study in moral ambiguity. He dies in 1966, without statues, without honors, without closure. His legacy is not written in monuments, but in absence, in bridges that still stand, in streets that were never buried. Paris survived the war not because destruction was impossible, but because it was stopped, not by an army, not by a miracle, but by a single decision made in a collapsing regime, under a direct order, with everything pointing toward obedience. History often remembers the men who pulled the trigger, pressed the button, followed the command. It rarely remembers the ones who didn't.